So this is again a makeup tutorial on this look while I discuss with you my Ropeflow journey. If you want to know what happened to my days 21 to 30 and if you want to know how I achieved this look, please stay tuned. There's not much detail so far. I think that once you achieve days 20, 21 and onwards, I think you're pretty much all set. And also if you have elevated your weight on the ropes, the type of rope that you've been using at this point, I think you are that kind of person who can actually just go with the flow with the music. So I'm gonna scoot you right over closer to my face so that we can proceed with this makeup tutorial. It's going to be very simple, guys. So I'll start off with the Can Make Pore Filler. It's actually a mattifier as well. And I think it's wrong that I'm doing this first because there will be a lot of fallout in the eyes. But we can clean it, so that's okay. So day 21 was October 30. I've been flowing to Super Bass, Officially Missing You, and Asukita. That's the one from Steve Aoki. Stretches and stretches of songs, but all with the same type of moves. Not all of them will fit into the beat. So what I'm doing is that I keep on trying and trying until I find the perfect beat or the perfect song for that combination. I wouldn't say that I can actually do a choreography. I just put together certain moves like on the count of 4, 8, and then when it fits the song, that's the one that will make the cut on my Instagram account. I'm using this might be Super Shock Cheek. It's actually a highlighter and it's too dark for me when I ordered it, so I use this for the eyes. It's actually a very good quality of highlight. It's also very good for the eyes, so I love this. One of my favorite highlights would be this. I mean this range. I'm all over the place because I didn't start with my eyebrows. I just came from a reunion. It's a virtual reunion from my high school friends, and we just kind of like wrapped up with the prizes. There was just a lot of generosity from the group, and meeting my teachers from way back was really heartwarming, and all they could say was that they're very thankful that we still remember them. I'm like, how could we forget them? I mean, I don't think I could ever forget any of my teachers. If you're a teacher, you know, don't ever think that your students would ever forget you. I think in whatever way, the amount of time that you spend with them, because that's a lot of time, they are bound to remember you even after years and years. And like, I mean, it has been years since high school. Day 22, I just kept on alternating between the pink rope and my orange rope. But what I noticed with day 22 is that I started losing weight. I did 10 sessions of 1 to 2 hours each in September when I started. And then I did like 12 sessions in October. And in November, I think I did about 15 sessions in November. I already had 10 sessions of Ropeflow in December. But I think it started being very noticeable on my 22nd session. Sometimes when I'm so into this music and I really want to perfect the execution, and I don't want to end the session, it takes me about 3 hours. But those are not all. Like, usually it's between 1.5 hours to 2 hours. And as I mentioned in day 22, that's when I noticed huge definition on my arms, and I've kind of like trimmed down. If you're planning to lose weight, it does, because it targets muscles that you don't really use a lot in the past. Even in the past when I used to do some body weight lifting and some spinning and dancing and yoga, there are still some muscles that I don't really use, but I've been using since I started flowing. So on day 22, 23, and 24, all I did was Blackpink. Every song of Blackpink that I can flow to, I tried it, and I just enjoyed. I think I dipped in the wrong brown, but I'm supposed to use just this light brown because this one is so much darker. Anyway, we'll fix that. I usually just do basic moves when I'm handling a heavier rope and I'm not very familiar with it. So if you plan on doing some quick beats like Blackpink for me, I stick with the basic moves because those pretty much are the ones that I'm most familiar with and easy to maneuver. Like for the figure eights, for example, are quite easy to maneuver. I stayed away from doing a lot of tricks. Like for me, as simple as it may sound, but a dragon hug is a trick. I never bothered with the dragon hug, and most especially I never bothered with harder sneaks when I started with the pink rope, which is about 440 grams, and to me at that time it was no joke. It was a different quality of rope, it was a different weight, so I had to be really careful. So see, we've already cleaned up that darker brown. Just use your powder and use a blending brush. And then we'll use a lip liner for the lower lash line. I wanted to achieve something like a reddish brown, but I don't have that, but I have a lip liner, and this one is really reddish brown. It's also very easy to apply this because it's a lipstick, so it's quite creamy. And then day 25 came. You know what? Day 25 is like... Wait, I need to focus because this is a wing. I'll just have to look down first because I need to wait for it to dry, otherwise my wing will mess up. So I was really waiting for the black rope. It was supposed to arrive at the same time as when my pink rope arrived, but time constraints. I had 4 days flowing with the pink rope, and on the 5th day, ever since I've elevated to the 440 gram, the 550 gram rope arrived. It was stellar. It was like, you know, it's the quality of that rope is really amazing. And plus, I really noticed a huge difference. Like when you flow with a heavier rope, the flows are more intentional. You really stick with the execution, and it's much slower. You're more careful. Put this together. I think the day 25 was also the day when the election in US wrapped up. I think it was their last day of election, so I was like flowing with some US flag, wearing a US flag. I think I just want to not forget about what happened that day, which was pretty historic. I mean, even if I'm not from the US, to me it's pretty historic. I forgot to clean my sponge, so I'm gonna use a stippling brush. We are going back to OG stippling brush. In day 25, I was using the black rope. That was exactly the break-in. I had no practice, I just filmed. However, I moved with it, I didn't care. I was super enjoying it. I think having enough practice on the 440 gram was a good thing. I mean, there wasn't much of a shock because I was already handling like an in-between weight. I don't know if you would take this as a recommendation. It will be good if there is an in-between. But if you don't, I mean, just be very careful. I know that, of course, people are trying to save these days, and not everyone can afford to buy so many ropes. But if you're planning to buy a lot of ropes and if you're trying to save money, I suggest that they do come in different weights and that they come in 100 gram difference, so that there's a reason for you to really upgrade. And as for me, as I've mentioned, having that practice with the 440 gram rope was a good transition rather than just jumping from 300 grams to quickly 550 grams. Ever since I started using the sponge, I never used my stippling brush anymore. I was so against the sponge for a long time because it attracts a lot of bacteria. However, you just need to clean it before using it. It really delivers a good finish, even better than the stippling brush. And for a long time, I've been using the stippling brush. So yeah, since I wasn't able to clean it and I'm already here in front of the camera, I just went back to the stippling brush. So I hope that whatever, we will try to figure out if this is a good finish. Put on some concealer and perfect the finish. So I'm using a Naturactor. You can also use liquid concealer. The only difference is that some concealers don't look good when you dust off loose powder. So be mindful that some concealers are good for combination with loose powders, while some you just probably need to use some pressed powder because they will cake. And I usually just pat my concealer with my finger. If I'm in a hurry, I can use the brush. But if you're using the brush, you will lose a certain opacity. At a certain point, of course, you will lose the coverage. And if you want more coverage, you can just pat it on. Song requests came on day 26. Unlike before, when I just flow with whatever song I like, and I'm super familiar with that song, so I pretty much know how I will land the rope. This time, when people are requesting for songs, you tend to spend hours just to perfect your execution and that beat. If you want to see more of my flows in different songs, please visit my Instagram account. I use Instagram and Facebook still because at least they allow me to use certain music for certain moves as long as it's like a short clip. But here in YouTube, they absolutely just block the entire video. So if you want to see more of my flows in famous songs, popular songs, EDM, a lot of EDM, please visit my Instagram account. I post weekly, I think. At least once a week I would have a flow in a certain song. And you can also make your requests if you have requests, and if I can do them, I'd certainly want to flow in that request of yours. When you make a request, it's hard, yes, but I learned too. For me, it's really wonderful to be able to practice more. We'll try to do some contouring using a bronzer. We're trying to even out the foundation and the hairline part. Lips are getting dry, so I'm gonna just put a balm. On day 27, a friend of mine noticed that I've been taking in requests, so he requested What You Say. They kind of like realized how every beat is different. When you do like a slow-mo, certain layers of the song get lifted to a slow-mo while the others don't get the effect. So I don't know why it does that. Maybe it's also in the layering that the artist did, but it's hard. Moving to the song What You Say took me about 3 hours to finish, but it was well worth it because at least the person who requested liked it. I think he did. The next day I flowed to an OPM song because we just survived a huge typhoon. However, there were also people who were not so lucky. They lost their homes, they lost a lot. Everything was just submerged in water. So I just want to send along some feel-good vibes in some way. So I used the song Daddy I think I've already added this in one of my end credits in the past. And I think this is the only time that I learned that there is an underhand sneak and an overhand sneak. And it's already what? Day 28! I will be using the brightest highlight I've ever had. This is the Flexitarian. We'll use it for the inner eye corner. And then we'll also use it here. We'll also add a little bit on your nose bridge, on the tips of your nose. And this, I love doing this because it gives me a heart-shaped face, because it like emphasizes my chin. You can also put it here. Powder again, just to level it out. Day 29, I received another request from my sister. I had to flow to Famous, and again, this you can watch and listen to in my Instagram account, where I flowed to the song Famous by Kanye West. So day 30, I was practicing to the song Come and Get Your Love by Redbone. I super love that song, especially from watching Guardians of the Galaxy. It's so nice that I was able to practice well with that song. I kind of like wanted it to be super smooth and super seamless. I'd like to believe I achieved it on day 31. It's my teaser release for the free rope giveaway that I did, and one of the winners actually wanted to purchase the 440 grams. She was nice enough to tell me that she will pay for the price difference, and I'm so happy to have shared that joy with her, because she's actually a frontliner. I hope that you've been enjoying your flows, and if you haven't started Ropeflow, I hope that you consider it. So thanks again for watching and staying up to the very end. I'd like to learn more about your Ropeflow experience, or if you haven't started, please let me know if you have any comments or questions. And please stay safe. If you need to go out, wear a mask. Merry Christmas everyone, happy holidays, and I only wish the best for you. Stay safe. Thank you for watching, and see you again soon. Bye! So in the